UFO universe, and this house featured very prominently in that center. Sitting in his office, which was over there, he happened to notice out in the sky in this direction a glowing object coming along. He took his first picture and the object had not quite cleared the tree. The left-hand side of the object was blocked by some of the branches of the tree. And then he took 4 more pictures that was in the clear, and this telephone transformer, this power transformer, and the lights there, that all shows up in the pictures that he took.
Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Dr. Creepy channel. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It is a small click for you, but for us, it really means a lot.
We have such sights to show you.
Now the Gulf Breeze sightings. Now there's a tale in more twists and turns than a high-speed chase on a mountain road. Picture Gulf Breeze, Florida 1987, a sleepy beach town where the biggest news is usually whose seashell collection has the biggest conch. But on the 11th of November, the tranquility was shattered, and not by a hurricane or a tourist invasion, but by a tale that would make even Spielberg raise an eyebrow. The hero of our story, or perhaps its villain, depending on whom you ask, was no other than Ed Walters. Ed was a well-established building contractor who, until that fateful day, was as ordinary as the sand on the beach. But that night, Ed would embark on a journey that would make Indiana Jones look like a couch potato.
He took his first picture and the object had not quite cleared the tree. The left-hand side of the object was blocked by some of the branches of the tree. And then he took 4 more pictures that was in the clear, and this telephone transformer, this power transformer, and the lights there, that all shows up in the picture that he took.
Ed was minding his own business in his home office when he noticed a strange light outside his window. Now, a lesser man might have dismissed it as a reflection or a trick of the eye, but Ed, perhaps fueled by an extra cup of coffee or a lack of interesting paperwork, decided to investigate. Armed with his trusty Polaroid camera, state-of-the-art technology at the time, he ventured out into the night and was greeted by a sight that would make a sci-fi novelist green with envy. A glowing, disc-shaped object, hovering above the highway like a lost frisbee. As he snapped photos, he was suddenly hit by a blue beam of light that knocked him out faster than a heavyweight champion's right hook. Came to, the craft was gone, but the photos remained, a tangible testament to his encounter with the extraordinary. But this was just the beginning of Ed's X-Files worthy adventure. He claimed to have seen the UFO almost 20 more times, each sighting more bizarre than the last. At one point, he even reported seeing the craft land and release 5 otherworldly beings. According to Ed, these beings resembled humans, but had an alien air about them that was as eerie as a Halloween night. One of these beings even supposedly locked eyes with Ed. As in a regular guy from a small beach town, now standing face to face with a being from the cosmos looking straight into its otherworldly eyes. It was as if he was peering into the abyss of the universe itself. That alien showing an intelligence that would make Einstein stutter communicated with Ed, but not with words. No, that would be too mundane. It used telepathy, effortlessly crossing the language barrier and communicating in both English and Spanish. Now, if you think that's bizarre, hold on to your hats because it gets weirder. The alien presented Ed with a book filled with dog images. Yes, you read that right, dog images. As if this encounter wasn't already leaving Twilight Zone in the dust, the alien then reportedly enveloped Ed in a blue beam of light, lifting him about 3 feet off the ground. If Ed wanted to join the circus, he certainly had his levitation act ready. Post this close encounter of the third kind, Ed's story took the UFO community by storm, splitting opinions like a poorly cut birthday cake. Some saw his Polaroid pictures as undeniable proof of extraterrestrial visitation, while others dismissed them as nothing more than elaborate hoaxes. Ed's story eventually made its way to the local newspaper, the Gulf Breeze Sentinel. Now, how often do you see a building contractor making headlines in a newspaper for something other than a construction project? Soon enough, Gulf Breeze turned into a hotspot for UFO sightings, courtesy of MUFON, one of the oldest and largest civilian UFO investigative organizations. Over the next few months, the town's residents and numerous visitors reported a slew of encounters. Each story was a unique cocktail of awe and terror, but they all shared similar descriptions: an elongated or oval craft glowing with an intense orange light and emitting vibrant light. The intensity of the encounters escalated as the sightings continued. Some people reported seeing the craft at close range, while others claimed to have experienced missing time and memory blackouts as if they had been taken aboard the craft. The diversity of the witnesses, including teachers, police officers, and even children, only added to the credibility of the sightings. One woman even narrated a chilling close encounter at her own home, where she was roused from her sleep at 2 a.m. to find an orange-lit UFO hovering ominously in her yard. In July 1988, Fenner McConnell and his wife Shirley contributed a rather compelling account. They reported observing a disc-shaped aircraft devoid of wings skimming just above the surface of the water, its landing lights casting a luminescent sheen on their pier. Shirley later identified this mysterious craft in Walter's photographs, which were published in the local newspaper, the Gulf Breeze Sentinel. One of the most notable sightings was reported by Brenda Pollock, a Gulf Breeze councilwoman and an acquaintance of Walter's. On March 17, 1988, while she was driving across the Pensacola Bay Bridge, Brenda spotted an orange light darting above the treetops. Arriving home to recount this eerie encounter to her husband, Buddy, she found him engrossed in examining Walter's photos with a group at Shoreline Park. During a brief hot chocolate break, while Walters was left alone, the group returned to find the area bathed in unexpected flashes of light. Walters had managed to capture more Polaroids of the alleged UFO. Brenda's belief in Walter's honesty added further credibility to his claims. Similarly, Santa Rosa County Commissioner John Broxton shared an encounter where he, along with several friends, spotted a procession of bright multicolored lights hovering above his home. In early November 1987, Art and Mary Hufford reported seeing a gray oval, silent object sailing above the treetops, which remained in their sight for several minutes and matched the one in Walter's photographs, further corroborating his account. Jeff Thompson and his 12-year-old son claimed a sighting on February 8, 1989. They observed a 3-foot wide and 2-foot high craft for about 10 minutes, during which Jeff attempted to approach the craft. As he neared it, the craft emitted a white light, crackled, and seemed to vanish into thin air. The most bizarre aspect of this encounter was the unexplainable shift in time that Walters experienced. He reported finding himself in the midst of the morning rush, a full 5 hours beyond his last clear recollection. How these assertions of lost time couldn't be empirically validated, they added an additional layer of mystique and intrigue to the already enigmatic tale of the Gulf Breeze UFO incident. The UFO phenomenon became such a part of the town's fabric that Gulf Breeze even started hosting an annual UFO conference. Attendees from all over flocked to the town, eager to learn about the latest sightings and theories. Backing now, where the conference featured expert speakers, panel discussions, and even a nighttime sky watch. Meanwhile, Ed, the man who started it all, remained at the center of the storm. Despite facing skepticism and even ridicule from some quarters, he stood by his story.
Hundreds of people in Gulf Breeze are testifying to seeing this thing. Now, if you want to believe I'm a faker or a trickster, then you also have to somehow or another convince all these other people who are saying they see the same thing that they are also hosters and tricksters.
He continued to share his experiences and photographs with anyone willing to listen, believing that his role was simply to bring awareness to the phenomenon. But the story doesn't end there. Amidst all the chaos and controversy, the alien visitor reportedly gave it a crucial message about the future of the Earth. The message was cryptic, filled with warnings about environmental degradation and the urgent need for humanity to change its ways. It was a message that resonated with many, especially those concerned about the state of our planet. Skeptics point to the lack of physical evidence and the inconsistencies in some of the witness accounts as reasons to doubt the validity of the sightings. Some even suggested that the whole thing was an elaborate hoax designed to bring attention and tourism to the town. Adding to the polygraph test, Walters also piqued the interest of renowned UFO researcher Bud Hopkins. Hopkins, admired for his thorough and comprehensive examination of alleged UFO encounters, conducted several interviews with Walters. He came away from these interactions convinced of Walters' honesty. Hopkins highlighted a couple of crucial factors that led him to endorse Walters' accounts. Firstly, Walters had turned down a lucrative $100,000 book deal, a refusal that seemed to contradict the theory of a hoax orchestrated for financial gain. Secondly, Walters' successful navigation of a polygraph test significantly strengthened his credibility. I feel that there's absolutely no sign of a hoax, that the photographs are genuine, that the witnesses are telling the truth, and that this presents probably the best, without any doubt, the best photographic evidence in 40 years of UFO investigation. Bruce McCabe, a respected optical physicist associated with the Navy in Washington, D.C., also examined the Polaroid images. Rather than dismissing Walters' photos as fabrications, as some skeptics might, McCabe added a surprising degree of validity to Walters' claims. He stated, "I think there is a good chance it's the real thing, because the first one shows the tree blocking part of this object, and you can't do that in a single, simple double exposure. You could do it with a so-called masked double exposure, where you make a mask that blocks out the background light. But it'd be impossible to do that with one of these, handheld cameras." The disputed model was of considerable size, with a diameter measuring 9 inches and a depth of 5 inches. It was composed of a blue plastic film, an orange paper ring with a diameter of 6 inches, a plastic pipe around 3.5 inches in length, and a paper ring that was 2 inches wide, all held together with electrical tape. Interestingly, meticulously crafted windows had been cut out on the drafting paper, spanning 2/3 of the model's circumference. On the flip side of this paper, the dimensions of a house on Jamestown Drive were scribbled, the handwriting bearing a striking resemblance to Walters. In accordance with the building permits of Santa Rosa County, Walters had constructed at least 2 homes on Jamestown Drive. The model was discovered hidden beneath the attic insulation after Walters and his family had vacated the house in 1988. Its existence only came to light when the new homeowner was questioned by a journalist about the topic of UFOs. Walters vehemently denied any knowledge of the model, proposing instead that it could have been planted by UFO skeptics or even the US government. He subsequently told the News Journal about a suspicious stranger seen entering his garage, descending from the attic stairs, and then making a hasty exit. According to a previous neighbor, the questionable stranger's vehicle had out-of-state license plates. However, the Gulf Breeze police recorded no break-ins at Walters' residence. The uncovering of the model divided the UFO community, with some people echoing Walters' conjecture that the model had been intentionally planted. Boyd, a former director of MUFON, reported that he faced pressure to leave the group when he expressed doubts about the authenticity of Walters' photos. According to a column by Mark Curtis of the News Journal, 2 MUFON investigators who exposed the hoax were virtually banished from the organization by die-hard believers. The enigma surrounding the Gulf Breeze UFO incident had now evolved into a saga teeming with intrigue and controversy. Much like other UFO narratives, the Gulf Breeze incident leaves us with more queries than resolutions. Is Ed Walters a genuine contactee, presenting us with some of the most persuasive evidence of extraterrestrial encounters? Or was he a crafty trickster, masterminding one of the most extensive UFO scams of the 20th century? Even today, the Gulf Breeze UFO incident remains one of the most persistent UFO mysteries. As we approach the end of this entertaining brain tickler, you might be left with one thought. What on earth, or rather off Earth, do I make of this? Well, dear friend, that's exactly what the comments section is for. Scurry down there and spill your thoughts, theories, questions, answers, favorite alien movie, or even your best extraterrestrial pun. Let's grow this community one UFO mystery at a time. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe for more videos, because really, who doesn't love a good alien mystery to add a dash of excitement to their everyday life?
If you like this type of content, check out our other videos based on true accounts. We cover everything from ghosts, poltergeist, time slips, the strange and the unusual, and even your favorite movies.